Joining me is psychotherapist Doyle. He has dedicated his career to treating men who say they're attracted to the same sex but don't want to be. He knows firsthand what it takes to try to overcome it because he has battled the same issue himself. So Chris, start us off by explaining what reparative therapy is.
Well, reparative therapy is when a client comes into my office, I'm a psychotherapist, and they feel that their sexual desires or attractions are in conflict with who they really are as a person. Many of my clients really don't believe they're gay. They can see that there's specific causes to their same-sex attractions, and we work with them and try to identify those causes in therapy. The same-sex desires, just like it was in my case, they just went away. And today, I'm married, I have 2 kids, and I'm so happy.
I looked at the American Psychological Association, the American Medical Association. They all denounce reparative therapy. In fact, a lot of times they say it's dangerous.
I've changed. I once was gay. I've been straight for 8 years, so I know personally it works. And all of my clients, if they really do that work, they'll stay straight.
Salvation is found only in his kingdom, in his church, and nowhere else. Now, this strikes many people in our day, as it has in past ages, to be a narrow, intolerant view of the world. But if it's narrow-minded, then Jesus himself has got to be accused of being narrow-minded, because he's the one who said it.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Comfortable, loose-fitting clothing, indoors, outdoors, dress in layers, blah, blah, blah. Sad, I've had that can of shaving cream for months now. It'll last forever. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, call me when you get there.
Oh, I probably will. I think I got everything I need.
Did you eat?
Yes, I did.
All right.
So
Too much.
I will be basically gone all weekend. And as a general rule, we're trying not to keep in contact with, family members or whatever. But, if it's an absolute emergency, obviously,
Yeah,
sure.
Yep. And I know your number.
But yeah, well, I
No big
should
deal.
hope so. One serving, one.
Oh, baby. Good, good. Oh! Hey, this is okay. You need to rub it.
It's a good thing I didn't have dessert after lunch because this is cake.
Once it gets big, once it swells enough, somebody can jump in the middle. Go, go.
So it's yours.
Dad,
Could you start?
Nathan, despite having a hard day at work today, I think you should really do something more than resting.
We work in the same goddamn building. You know how hard I work having to lift 100-pound bags all the freaking time. You're sitting in a computer office doing IT. You have all kinds of energy left over by the end of the day to do whatever you want around the house. So good on you. Have fun. I want to sit down and have a couple of, buckets of popcorn and watch some television. If I want to do something else with my time, that's on me. So with all due respect, go to hell. God, you gave this to me, and I've been told that sometimes the best thing we can do with the gifts you've given us is to give them right back. So you can take these with you. Because I don't want them anymore.
Gonna be rain down, light and love.
Light and love, Philip, Nathan the powerful, Nathan the ballsy, Nathan the strong.
Could you stop at Nathan? I'm pretty sure the rest is on my birth certificate, so it's not.
Receive.
Thank
okay?
you.
All right.
So let's do that again.
Okay.
And Nathan
Nathan.
the wonderful, Nathan the terrific, Nathan the ballsy, Nathan the honest and loving man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Let's try it again. Nathan the wonderful,
Okay.
Nathan the terrific, Nathan the ballsy, Nathan the powerful, loving man.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Let's go over some of the basics. What's the first rule of gun safety?
Always treat the gun like it's loaded.
Well, that's one of them. NRA teaches the first rule is always keep your finger off the trigger till you're
Ready to fire.
ready to shoot.
Come on. I've forgotten how many I've put in so far.
I usually count. I think it's a good idea always to know, but if you look at the back, you've got the back.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the visual there. You should see.
I really don't.
Actually, these are backwards.
Oop. Oh, shit.
Remember our slide lock levers there?
Yep.
That's our magazine release.
Yep.
Finger off the trigger till ready to shoot. Grab it. No, grab it like you're ready to. Hang on.
I don't know.
Range is hot.
Congrats. You're 2 minutes early. I pegged you for being late.
Nice to see you too. Would you like water?
Speaks my language. Please and thank you.
Would you like to greet?
Is this one of those things we're now going to sit, stay, roll over to? Jeez.
Good to see you. A part of your goals for this work are that you want to eventually, be able to marry a woman, have children someday. No, it's not everybody's goals, but that's
one of those things where I want that to be an option. I don't know whether it'll actually end up happening.
Okay.
Because one, I think she'd have to be crazy and or drunk. And then two, I would have to be crazier and or drunker. So I don't know. I have to find a very special kind of
Do you
woman.
really believe that?
I don't know. I mean, it takes a very special kind of person to put up with me even on a friendship basis.
But this is a part of the work that we were doing with you in the weekend, is that you have this self-deprecating behavior all the time, like, making, passive aggressive remarks at yourself, and, saying things about yourself that are almost like defense mechanisms. Why all the self-deprecating phrases, behaviors? Where does that come from?
Despite having always been picked on, even when there was like sometimes where I was like physically assaulted or whatever, I never defended myself, because I felt that that's not the thing that I'm supposed to do.
Okay. So basically you took all this crap from people.
Yeah.
And you never defended yourself, and that stuff is sticking with you today.
Yeah.
All right. So stand up. I want to identify some people in your life that punish you for imperfection, okay? Let's choose some objects to represent these figures, okay? All right.
Okay.
What about, was there any specific girls growing up that made you, belittled you, or made you feel like you were less than?
No, oddly.
None? No? No girls ever said anything mean to you, made you feel less than a man? Anything like that?
No.
Okay. Let's represent something from Mom. Oh, this is good. This is a kind of a woman with a baby. Represents her. I want you to come up with some phrases that these people would say to you, okay? Now, every time you say some of the phrases, I want you to rip out a page or two in here, okay? And it can be a bunch of pages, all right? And you tell them exactly what you think. This is for making me feel like I wasn't good enough. Throw it at them.
It's just too emotionally draining to get angry about it.
I know, that's a part of the process. You have to feel in order to heal. Okay, we're not going to think our way out of this, remember?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay, so put your arms down, all right? Ground yourself if you need to.
Okay.
And get a pair of balls, all right? Because you didn't drive all the way here to do nothing.
I'm aware of that.
So you're going to work tonight.
Okay.
All right? You got to feel.
Now, wouldn't it be interesting if I told you no,
Yeah?
and I just told you get stuffed? I'll do as I please.
Okay, you could do whatever the hell you want.
Okay.
But I really think this is going to be helpful for you. Or you can sit on the sideline like you've done the whole rest of your life and basically let others control you. and basically just,
Because see, right now, what you're doing is the sort of manipulative thing that the most of the people that I'm right now supposedly focusing on did to me when I was younger.
Well, how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel a little bit pissed.
Good. Well, get some fucking balls and do something about it. Okay? So who's this? What did he say to you? Give me something. You couldn't hit the receiver if you had the best arm in the world and you can't throw it. You throw like a girl. You are a freaking wimp.
And yet, at least I can spell wimp, you dumbass.
Oh, okay, Mr. Hide Behind My Books. Wow, you're so smart, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, if you compare our averages, mine is that much better than yours. And you know what? In the end, unless you're playing football for a living, which I very much doubt you're doing right now, guess who's going to be getting a better paying job in the future? That would be me, you little pissant.
Good. All right, now we're at Mom.
Oh, Mom.
How did Mom make you feel like you had to be perfect, huh? Why do you have to criticize me all the time?
You don't. And it's about time that you realize that, you stupid bitch.
I'm so tired of these words staying with me. Why can't you just say good things about me?
Would it kill you once in a while to admit that you're not in control of me anymore? Were you ever, really? I'm so sorry that you didn't have another daughter, but believe it or not, I have a penis.
Good. I'm a man.
And I'm tired of my balls rolling around in your purse.
Good.
Ugh.
Good. Stay with your anger. Don't turn away from me. You're just getting started. All right.
Let me see.
So what did Dad say that made you feel imperfect or made you feel like you had to
I mean, in general, it was just a sort of, he wasn't really there emotionally, so it wasn't really what he said so much as what he didn't say. I think the one thing that epitomized, like, where his mind was the one time
Say it to him. Say it to him.
You'll remember the time, Dad, that I was given the lead role, or the lead male role, in a play in college. I come out and everybody else is telling me what a great job I did. That it was a fantastic performance. That for someone who hadn't acted before, it seemed like I had been doing it for ages. And everyone had given me such things right up until I came to you. And the first thing you said to me, you looked me dead in the eye, what is it you say? You're wearing makeup!
Fuck you! Say it, come on.
I can't say that to my own father. I can't say that to my own father.
All right, let's split them, okay? Fine. Let's split. Good dad and bad dad, okay? Psychologically, you have to, if you can't get the anger out, you have to split, okay? In order to honor the good parts of your father and be able to make peace with the bad parts of your father, okay?
Dad, would it have killed you to let me be a child for like 5 fucking minutes of my childhood, whatever it was, brief though it was?
So my life was wrapped up in performance, Dad. And it still is. Okay. All right, now before we conclude this, let me get a garbage bag. That's your crap.
Gee, thanks.
So we're gonna put all this in a bag, okay? And you're gonna take this with you. And then I want you to take opportunity this weekend or whenever you get some time, and I want you to burn all this crap, okay? And it's symbolic for you getting rid of it, all right? And I don't want to ever hear in our therapy or when I'm around you another self-deprecating thing again. I'm going to correct you whenever it happens, all right? Because you're not defined by this shit anymore. All right, we've got to end.
Fantastic. Oh, it's part of something that was from one of our sessions where Chris had me tear off a whole bunch of stuff, bring it home, and then we're going to burn it.
I would throw it in that pile there.
Over there?
A little gasoline if you want to do that.
Oh, good. The fun stuff. Well, let's see if it looks like it's already catching on very, very well, so it'll do its thing, trust me.
You must be the friend, huh?
Yes, pleasure to meet you.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Cameron, nice to meet you.
How do you guys know each other, by the way?
Go ahead.
You're better at telling.
I was actually dating someone at the time, and I had just started dating someone. We actually met via Grindr and started talking horrible, inappropriate jokes back and forth about.
This was like when?
2 years, a little over 2 years
Beginning
ago.
of December of 2012.
Okay.
And it grew into a very, very lasting friendship, which I value a lot, actually.
And I can say
And this
the
is
same.
whenever you were just starting to go through your process, actually.
Just as soon, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
which is
But you were still going. You were still struggling, going back and forth
Yeah.
a little bit that time.
And to this point, I mean, this is one of the reasons why let me put it this way: a lot of the people whom I had known from about from that time in my life and prior, I have either since drifted from, or have found that their interest in me was not platonic, and there was actually something underneath that they wanted something else, and that was the only thing in which they were. Just once I told them no, that's out, they were gone.
Typically, what we see in our clients is that they don't connect and bond and attach emotionally to the same sex growing up, at least sufficiently in our view. Okay? So when they get to puberty, they start to sexualize other men. And that is and that sexual response is the only way that they're getting close to the to the same sex. Because typically they're a little detached. They're more attached to the feminine. If it's a guy and a girl, the opposite.
The theory of, you say it occurs around puberty, correct?
What occurs?
The sexualization of the desire to bond with the same gender.
Well, the sexualization happens around puberty because that's whenever hormones really start to develop, but the actual longing for the same sex occurs much prior to that. But keep going.
From what I can tell, from what I've delved into, I had equal opportunity to bond with both. So I landed with, I was built this way. This is the way that my body and my mind have always been programmed. I have not, and as far back as I can remember, ever actually been sexually attracted to a woman.
But what you were most likely experiencing, and what I see a lot with my clients who say that they were attracted to the same sex at that age, is it's an emotional longing for connection. And then the emotional detachment from the same sex then becomes sexualized once you get the hormones and the puberty kicks in. So that it becomes very, very confusing for people at that age, because also society is saying to you that you're gay if you feel this way. And this is who you are, instead of that this is what's happened psychologically and emotionally.
I know I can sell water to fish and ice to Eskimos. I've been aware of this forever. That's how I convinced half my exes to date me. By exes, I mean the self-identified heterosexual men that I enlightened.
That sounded distinctly pointed.
Well, because the thing is, the thing I don't like about is when people are like, oh, you're trying to convert me. Like, you can't convert someone. It's enlightenment. You open their eyes to something that was already there.
Do you know what you're gonna get?
I'm probably not going to get anything. For some reason, I'm not all that hungry.
I would sit here and reenact my Miss Piggy orgasm and scream your name.
Why? I don't need to know that. I do not need to know that. Because then I will probably break out my Kermit voice and just try and make as much light of it as I can.
Get over me, you wildebeest. What's long fingering and smells like pork? Kermit's fingers. I smell bacon. So do I.
Wow. Okay, there is a special spot in hell for me.
There's a special spot in hell for both of us. Oh wait, I don't believe in it.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling a pagan that they're going to hell for the sense of like me telling you you're going to Mordor.
I am aware of the concept. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Notice though I didn't leave you anywhere in my statement.
In your statement, does that mean your butt?
Yes, my statement is my nickname for my ass. What the?
Well, your ass is quite a statement in those jeans.
You know, please.
Your statement, well, your ass was more of a statement in the jeans you were wearing when we went bowling.
Yeah, wait. These were the same jeans. Nothing changed.
I know.
We were bowling.
You were bent over and bouncing. You do this little bend and then pseudo bouncing. Yes, you.
No, I do not.
Yes, you.
That
do.
is a lie.
You do. It's you bend over and you go.
Okay, I'm gonna need to have someone
2, 3.
videotape me now while I bowl just to see if. Screw you. Shut up.
I'm not afraid.
I don't do
Eat it.
whatever that's
Eat
on.
it.
I'll eat. I'll have my own.
Eat it. Eat it. There you go.
What were your thoughts concerning the session which you attended in November?
My only hang up with your sessions with Chris and the scope of things that they touch on is this. There is a lot of positive movement forward within your emotional state, your mental state, and that's great. But it is being latched and immediately reattached and associated with your changes or the change you are striving for. And the one worry in the back of my head is, this is called association, and it is actually a trick used by salespeople and everyone else. And it's, let's give them ideas and feels that are good, and then latch it and associate with something that we want them to latch onto.
Okay. Where would you like to start?
I have no idea. It seems like over the past few weeks anyway, that I have been hit with like little, not personal, but like little defeats or jabs or something that would feel almost deflationary to me.
So some challenges?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are some of those challenges?
I don't mean to sound, what's about to...
Just say it.
I'm about to say, I don't want to sound like a dick or ungrateful or whatever.
Come on. Just say it.
But how long is this going to take, Chris? And how deeply rooted can it ever be? Whether it's at all or just for me, in your personal estimation. Because I don't want to have to find out that this is going to take until I'm 60 and then be like, great, my youth is gone and probably my chances of marriage.
Nathan, this isn't a cure. And I never said that you're going to go through therapy and you're going to completely get rid of all same-sex attractions. It's never going to ever come back again. That would be probably an unrealistic expectation for almost anybody. But it's important that you know that SSA is not about SSA. It's about all the underlying issues. So if you're having SSA, what are the issues underneath that? That's what we need to explore in our work together.
Right.
Right?
I don't like being vulnerable with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because it places me in a position of weakness.
Nathan, come on. Let's cut the shit here. Okay? If you would have grew up in a family in a childhood where there was unconditional love given out, and things were perfect and happy and no one ever got hurt, you wouldn't be sitting here today worrying about getting too close to people.
Right.
Okay?
Well, in that case, Chris, let's cut all the shit. What do you think would exactly happen if I were to get very close to specific people?
I'm trying to get you there. Okay? Something's going on here that's triggering a wound. And you're afraid that someone can get close to you again because people that in the past that have been close to you have hurt you. And the people that are closest to you have the most potential to hurt you.
For this particular one, especially when it comes to Cameron, I don't know whether or not I can allow myself to get close to him because there's always the people saying, well, it's like a near occasion or he might want something else or whatever. I don't get the impression that he is just like waiting to pounce, so to speak. I don't think he would do that. He has said that he wouldn't. I think he's telling the truth.
Okay. So
I'm more afraid of what I would do because, again, it's been over 2 years now that I've been doing this therapy. About over a year and a half since anything of an impure nature, I suppose you could say, has occurred.
So you're afraid that you might become vulnerable and weak around him?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want people to, like, the last thing I'd want is people saying, well, I told you so, or that this one friendship that has bothered to be of this kind of depth for the first time in God knows how long, went sour as well.
If you trust Cameron and he's helping you in your life and he's a good friend, then he's a good friend. It's not his problem and his fear. It's your issue. And you have to put down appropriate boundaries to know what you're comfortable with and what you're not. But again, you're always in control and you're always in charge of this process for you. So I'm just trying to help empower you.
I am beginning to question whether or not what I would argue is a relatively low success rate would ever justify, again, screw other people. Again, their pursuit of their own happiness is their own baby. But in terms of my own, I don't think there will ever, ever, ever be enough therapy on God's green earth that will ever convince me that I can give myself the green light to go ahead and get married to a woman.
Okay.
And that bothers me a lot. And the only thing worse, to me anyway, than wasting my time on what could be considered a foolish endeavor or a fool's errand is ever having invested in false hope. I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. Before, years ago, there are very few people who wouldn't argue that I was unhappy. But I was stable. Now I'm unhappy and I'm unstable. And I'm incredibly angry about it. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that in my own life, I can tell you that I've been through what you're going through. And I used to think that getting married and finding a woman and having a family would make me happy. And it has provided some happiness. But ultimately, it's caused me a lot of grief too, and a lot of pain. Because it's hard, and it requires a lot of sacrifice. And really sacrificing my own happiness for a lot of it. Because it's not really what I found. Marriage and family is not really about me and happiness. It's really about putting my own happiness and others' happiness before me and love. And it's the love that I've given and the love that I've received in return that makes it okay, that makes me actually fuel, that gives me the strength to go on.
Now, if what you're telling me is that marriage doesn't guarantee happiness, then, well, at that point, who cares whether or not I'm miserable with a man or a woman?
I think you're absolutely right.
And that's a very dangerous precedent to set, Chris, because if you give me that kind of leeway with which to think, God knows where I will end up.
Nathan, whether you're with a man or a woman sexually, romantically, is not going to make you happy or unhappy. That's not the answer for you. That I know for sure.
Then, and I'm asking this with as much seriousness as I possibly can, and I'm not trying to come off as a dick. Why am I here?
That's for you to answer. I don't set your goals. I never have.
Great. Honestly, I don't know where that leaves me right now.
Why did you first come to see me?
I don't even remember anymore. I thought I was miserable then, and then whatever alternatives there were would make me happy. It just seems though right now that what I'm being told is that I'm going to be miserable regardless of where I end up.
Nathan, you're in control of your destiny. What I've told you tonight is you're not going to find happiness in another person. You have to find happiness in yourself. And until you realize that and stop running away and trying to find yourself in someone else or bury your pain and not deal with it, you're not going to be happy. And I didn't say you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life. You are completely in control of that.
okay.
Okay, let's put cameras off.
There was a time during the therapy, perhaps a large swath of it was because I wasn't seeing as much progress as I would have liked. I hit a rough patch. I was just, for whatever reason, depressed. There was, at that point, I was, it was really, really difficult. I was struggling to deal with the entire thing, the therapy itself. I'd even considered drawing it to a close because I was beginning to question so much. And you know, it seemed like things got really dark for a while. And shortly thereafter, in a, I suppose, rare moment of sanity, I decided that I should rely on outside help. I had gone to Mass shortly thereafter, and my prayers are, I'm not one who very formal prayer. It's usually, God and I have a very spontaneous relationship. There are times I'll just throw really random stuff out there. I'm glad he is as accepting of me as he is. But I was in Mass, and I was still in that really dark place. And just in the middle of Mass, I'd offered the prayer, just, Lord, I am, for many reasons, incredibly lonely and without help. I'm just sort of, I'm adrift right now. And I know I don't usually ask for this sort of thing. But I need to have some kind of touch, contact. I need to be held, because I am just so remarkably by myself right now that everything is falling apart. And there are a few things more painful than watching something that you're trying to build to collapse inward on its own weight. So I just said, that would be great if I could just be, I need to be held. I know it's a really weird thing to ask, but if you could do that, that'd be great. And it wasn't 10 minutes later that Father Fasano said the consecration at Mass, the high point, where it all sort of hit me at the same time that my prayer was not only about to be answered, but I was going to be given much more than I'd asked for, because the truth of the consecration and the nature of transubstantiation became remarkably apparent to me During the consecration, as Catholics, we believe that the bread and wine become the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. And at that point, it became readily apparent to me that not only was I wasn't just going to be held, Christ himself was about to enter into me in full. That is not even an honor granted to the angels. So I'm sitting there making an abject fool of myself in the middle of Mass because I was at this really low point just 10 minutes before when I'd offered up what I thought was the most ridiculous and stupid prayer that I'd ever offered. And because, again, God has a really weird sense of humor, not 10 minutes later, I'm on the polar opposite end of that spectrum where he's like, yeah, tell you what, I got one better for you. And it became readily apparent to me that, I'd originally understood, like, intellectually what was meant by the miracle of the Mass and transubstantiation, but it never really hit home emotionally and substantively until about that point, where I couldn't help but think I don't know how other Christian denominations even can survive in the way that they have, because if they saw what I did at that particular Mass and appreciated the actual miracle of the Eucharist, there would not be a single person on this planet who would not be Catholic. And it was just that one point, that 1 hour-long stretch that so many people are so eager to just hurry up and get over with on Sundays that made all the difference. And I could not be more thankful for it, because honestly, I think that was the turning point where I thought, I actually might be able to do this. This might just work. I'm going to need nothing short of divine help. But I have it.
That the Church will act as a mediator in finding solutions to problems affecting peace, social harmony, the defense of life, and human and civil right. Let us pray to the Lord. That in this year dedicated to consecrated life, religious men and women may rediscover the joy of following Christ and strive to serve the poor with zeal. Let us pray to the Lord.
There's a great excerpt that I think encapsulates a lot of the crux of the issue between people struggling with SSA and even the LGBTQ community. And I think it's from John Paul II's encyclical Fides et Ratio, and I love this particular excerpt from it because it's just so poignant. All human beings desire to know, and truth is the proper object of this desire. Everyday life shows how concerned each of us is to discover for ourselves, beyond mere opinions, how things really are. With invisible creation, man is the only creature who not only is capable of knowing, but who knows that he knows, and is therefore interested in the real truth of what he perceives. People cannot be genuinely indifferent to the question of whether what they know is true or not. If they discover that it is false, they reject it. But if they can establish its truth, they feel themselves rewarded. It is this that St. Augustine teaches when he writes, quote, "I have met many who wanted to deceive, but none who wanted to be deceived," end quote. It is rightly claimed that persons have reached adulthood when they can distinguish independently between truth and falsehood, making up their own minds about the objective reality of things. This is what has driven so many inquiries, especially in the scientific field, which in recent centuries have produced important results, leading to genuine progress for all humanity. No less important than research in the theoretical field is research in the practical field, by which I mean the search for truth which looks to the good which is to be performed. In acting ethically, according to a free and rightly tuned will, the human person sets foot upon the path to happiness and moves toward perfection. Here too, it is a question of truth. It is this conviction which I stressed in my encyclical letter, Veritate Splendor, quote, "There is no morality without freedom. Although each individual has a right to be respected in his own journey in search of the truth, there exists a prior moral obligation, and a grave one at that, to seek the truth and to adhere to it once it is known. It is essential, therefore, that the values chosen and pursued in one's life be true, because only true values can lead people to realize themselves fully, allowing them to be true to their nature. The truth of these values is to be found not by turning in on oneself, but by opening oneself to apprehend that truth even at levels which transcend the person. This is an essential condition for us to become ourselves and to grow as mature adult persons."